Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Ladies Who Question. And oh golly, we have another guest today, and we're pretty excited about it. I'm Lisë, and I'm here with my co-host Holli, and we have a guest. Say hi, Holli.
Hello.
We have a guest today who has her fingers in a lot of different pots, helping a lot of different people in various ways. And we would like to make you guys aware of what is out there and what some of the needs are that are maybe a little different that you haven't thought about, maybe something new or unusual. And our guest is Patty Charhut. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you, Lisë, and thank you, Holli. It's so great to be here.
Welcome.
Holli, since you are friends with Patty, you know her a lot more than I. We just met physically today.
Yeah.
I think it would be appropriate for you to
Get this party started.
Get this party started, baby.
Okay.
Crank it up.
All right. Well, Patty, thank you so much for your time today. And you're going to be enlightening us on some local charities that you're involved in. Patty has been volunteering for, I can't even remember how many years, since the day I met her. She's involved in a lot. She volunteers, she runs a business, and she's always busy and a wealth of information. So I would like to turn it over to you, Patty, and you could tell us about the two organizations that we're going to talk about today. So let's start with Catholic Charities, and you can tell us how you started with this organization, your journey, and a little more information about it so we can learn a lot.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Holli. Actually, I started with Catholic Charities. It was kind of an unusual way in that I was playing paddle with a friend, and she was mentioning, I had just come off of a pretty big endeavor with another charity, and I was looking for a different approach. And she had mentioned Catholic Charities, and I knew of the organization, but I didn't know its depth and breadth. And I decided it was interesting enough, so I would join the women's board. And I was, I had all sorts of different capacities, but mostly I focused it on the communication aspects of it. And eventually moved on to the executive board as in head of mission communications, we called it, and then helped to develop the ladies brand, the women's board brand, and supported them in all different ways that way. And then I also helped on the Art of Caring, which is their largest fundraising in Lake County. And it's in its 35th year this year.
So that first of all sounds like a full-time job.
It really does.
You took on like this executive position pretty early on to when you joined.
Probably about 3 years into it, I decided because brand communications is my background, marketing communications is my background, and I was focusing on small businesses and nonprofits, and I wanted to see what I could do to help build the women's board brand. So that was a lot of fun. I found that learning more about the brand, the women's board, was important. So we developed I guess it would be a 25th anniversary video that did talk about the founding members and how they brought the women's board together and how important it was for them to reach out to what they called their neighbors in the North.
So when they say neighbors in the North, are you talking about an organization that was based in Chicago that I'm confused?
Yes. So Catholic Charities has a branch, or has two branches now. One is in Waukegan, and there are two branches in Lake County. One is in Waukegan, and one is in Round Lake.
Okay.
But the larger entity of Catholic Charities is based in downtown Chicago. It's Catholic Charities Archdiocese of Chicago. So I focused my efforts with the Women's Board of Lake County, who back in when they were first founded, raised funds solely for Lake County for the services and programs.
That's what when I did a little research, I just concentrated on the Lake County location.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I noticed Waukegan and Round Lake.
And that's how they decided their fundraising arm would be through the Art of Caring benefit.
And how long ago was that when you began your involvement?
I began my involvement probably about 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay, and it was a natural, since you have a background in communications, for you to take on that part of the organization, right?
Yes, it was really fun to learn more about the workings behind the scenes and how important it is that so many programs are supported both in financially, but then also with helping hands, donors and people who can come and help at the benefit or help with the planning, get on the women's board. There are actually over 100 women now on the women's board.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
boy.
pretty. It's a very diverse, wonderful group of women.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of mother-daughter teams that used to,
wow.
yeah, it's really kind of fun. So it's been quite the journey for me. I rolled off the executive board probably 2 years ago and decided to kind of micro focus my efforts. I still help them with publicity, particularly for the Art of Caring event that's coming up in April. And but I also help in a more micro-focused capacity with some of the programs specific to Lake County.
For instance,
There's one called the Welcome Home program that was initiated by our women's board and is run pretty regularly by two women's board members. But then there are a bunch of us that pitch in to help. And essentially, it's to either provide funding or household items for families that are being rehomed, whether it's through their emergency services program or the family self-sufficiency program. And sometimes it's just single moms with their kids. Sometimes it's, a single person that's, been rehomed for some reason. Sometimes it's people, younger people that have matriculated from the youth programs and they need housing.
Okay.
So everything, but it's mostly apartment-based, and we give them a package that helps them move in with all the essentials like bedding and kitchen items and that kind of thing. And then another part of the organization provides bedding. Provides beds and furniture and lamps and larger things like that.
now how do you get these donations, and how can our listeners tap into their volunteer self and help with Catholic Charities?
There are quite a few ways to reach out to Catholic Charities. They do have the CatholicCharities.net website, and under that there's several tabs. There's an immediate tab to donate, tab meaning a button to donate. There's also an opportunity to go to the different programs and services in Lake County and decide to participate in those. There's a whole volunteer portal.
Those that are underneath the Catholic
that are
Charities umbrella.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
And because there's multiple programs in Lake County that are probably, I would say, that are tailored, of course, to the community there. And then to join the women's board, there's also a separate tab that one could go to and sign up to go to their first meeting and get to know everybody.
So there's 100 women. Do you all meet once a month, or? It's a big meeting.
Well, we do. It's interesting you say that. The beauty of the pandemic was that we all did become a little bit better versed in video conferencing.
Okay.
So those that cannot attend in real life, of course, do try to patch in virtually.
Okay.
And we have regular newsletters that go out that do give top line information for all of the people, the women's board members that are, learning about activities and what have you. So there are lots of ways to be able to contribute and participate.
Well, tell us a little bit about your event in April.
Sure. This will be its 35th year, and it's a traditional charitable event in that they'll have a signature cocktail party, and they'll have entertainment, dinner, and live auction, and probably a special speaker, and a paddle race. And I would say annually we try to raise up at $300,000 per event. And since we're up to $6 million now,
that is
in
fantastic.
30, in 35 years, I know it's like crazy town.
Are you looking for volunteer or donations for the paddle race?
They probably will in the near future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that
we're just getting into
time.
we're into the planning stages right now, which is great. But I'd be happy to put you in touch with somebody.
Well, we just want to make
Put it
sure
out
that
there.
everybody's aware of, like, if they're thinking, but I want to help right now.
Right.
And
They can do that by donating.
They can help right now, actually, and you can get involved in the women's board at any time. That's the nice thing that although. There's no formal recruitment process or sign up or what have you. It's a matter of, a lot of it has been personal referral. I mean, I was referred by a friend, so it's worked out really well.
Well, what we really want to talk about today at length is this new endeavor that you've been involved with. Both Holly and I were pretty jazzed when we started learning about this Waukegan to College.
Yes.
And if nobody is familiar with that particular organization yet, by the end of this podcast, you will be, because Patty knows all about it. And I don't know. It just sounds great.
It sounds great. It sounds
and so necessary.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It sounds very grassroots how it started. I did a little research on my own and was fascinated by how it just evolved from really nothing and one woman from 25 students to 200. But I'll let you tell us about this and the concept and where you are now, where they started and where you are now with it.
Sure. It's interesting that you mentioned that. It was grassroots. So one of my other passions, of course, has been education. I played a couple of leadership roles during when my children were in school in an opportunity to work on the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Learning Disabilities Association as well as the High School Foundation Board. So education has always been a passion of mine. And I was chatting with a friend who was doing some pro bono work for this organization, Waukegan to College, and she had mentioned that there may be an opportunity for me to use my skills there, my communication skills. And so I met with the exec director and another the program director at the time, and we chatted about what I'd be able to help with, and they had a need for a college essay coach. So this was 5 years ago. Wow. And my first set of students, I had 10 students, no, actually 8 students at the time. And so my role was to guide them through their personal essay writing as part of their college application. And they were finding that the reason they brought someone on like me who doesn't speak Spanish or isn't really familiar with the Waukegan community was to allow them to build their stories that are unique to them, but yet shape them so that they were appealing to a typical college admissions counselor who may not be familiar with that community. So it's been super rewarding for me because it is. It's
I mean, I
been able to
practically
use.
want to cry.
It's so wonderful to help them shape their stories. They have such compelling, inspirational stories. I mean, even during the pandemic, the characteristics that could be conjured out of them, which was really shared in such passionate ways. The stories that came out of them were just amazing. And it's been so fun to shape them for college applications.
When did that start now?
So I started that role 5 years ago. And I believe I was the first person that they brought in as a volunteer. Now, the college admissions, the counselors that are working at Waukegan College with the students had been doing that on their own. But their cases were getting so full with so many different students at different levels of wherever they were on their journey, the college readiness journey, they needed extra help. So I came in and got to meet with every student, and we just had a wonderful opportunity together. It was really great. So this is my 5th year, and what we did this year was I created a protocol for both essay coaches and students that talked a little bit about how to prepare yourself for the personal essay. From the student perspective, how to prepare yourself for the personal essay and what you're going to go over and what have you and all that kind of thing, and how to work with an essay coach. And then for the essay coaches, how to work with a student. So I kind of customized
I told you.
Protocols.
I told you that we were talking about it, and Holly was saying that she doesn't, she's not sure if she would be able to do something like that. And I'm like, oh no, I'm sure that they have a way for you, like a syllabus or something.
I'm not very articulate, and I'm a terrible writer.
That's not true. And
oh no, stop.
Well, but what I'm saying is this is what Patty's helping to create or creating, and that makes a great opportunity.
It is a wonderful opportunity.
Well, she was already excited about it.
I was really excited about reading about this.
And you don't have to be a writer to be able to guide them through this process, because you don't do the writing. You don't do the writing.
No.
They do the writing.
But editing.
Well, you have to edit, but it's not. You don't edit their language. How to explain it? You don't edit how they present the information. Of course, you put it in order, but they've already been told what to put in order, and you have to keep their flow and their language. All you're really editing is their grammar. So if you find that, or if there's a sentence that's repeated or a thought that's repeated, you pull that thought out. There's a lot of ways to go about that. But more importantly about all of this is that my job as an essay coach is only a sliver of what Waukegan to College does.
Well, tell us.
This whole program. I know.
Yeah. There's probably a place for everyone to help.
It's not all about me. Let me
and
tell you.
Maybe there's something else that would interest you.
Yeah, and actually, so Waukegan to College really starts with students probably in middle school, like 5th grade, and they identify.
That's a good time to start.
It is. It's an excellent time to start to groom them. I mean, not groom them, but to prepare them, pull them through the journey, to give them the proper resources to get them through the college process. So, starting with 5th grade, what they do start to identify is persistence and what's the other? Persistence and it'll come to me. But the idea is that
they're starting to form
consistence.
that. Yeah,
it's persistence and consistence.
Got it.
So they're consistently studying. They're consistently showing up for class,
developing the mindset.
Right, and then they're learning how to advocate for themselves, how to stand up for themselves. One of the things I think is really important, and I do work on with the students, is to make sure that they're starting to develop their own personal brand. Because here's all my brand communications coming out, right?
There you go.
So,
but your brand has to come across in your essay, so that makes perfect sense.
Exactly. And so I encourage them to, take notes about themselves when something happens, whether it's, something significant positively or something significant negatively. And then how does that affect them and how are they moving on from there? So this is the kind of stuff that I do personally.
Like journaling.
It is kind of like journaling, and it is kind of how you prepare for a personal essay. But in any event, they have all sorts of resources that help prepare these kids to be primed for going down the college journey. They have tutors. They have people that work with the families for financial education, so they learn about FAFSA and all the other scholarship opportunities. They work with them on study habits, good study habits, with how mental health, support. There's all sorts of opportunities that the students get as they prepare. They have Waukegan to College has really put together very clinically measurable for a better goals that they are trying to reach every year, and they have received donations and support in that respect. They just put together a fantastic annual report that really delineates how much has happened in the 14 years that they've been in business, and it's burgeoned for the idea from one executive director and one staff member to I think they have like 20 people. They have 100 and almost 150 volunteers.
Wow.
I mean, that help in all aspects. You don't have to be a writer. You don't even have to be a teacher to help these students. They have mentors. They have math tutors. They have all sorts of. They have people who just help the kids learn how to interview or learn how to present themselves verbally. There's all sorts of opportunities, and then to also help prime them for their college, they go on college experiences. So they do go and visit colleges. And meet with admissions people and meet with teachers and just go through classrooms and just get a good read that way. And they also go through industries. I believe, I don't know what they had out on the website, Holly.
Well, I noticed that they do take a lot of field trips. I had a question.
Because a lot of times, a lot of those kids maybe have not been out in...
Right, no, they haven't.
And they need that exposure.
In their information. I read about that. Now, do these kids apply for this? How do they?
Yes,
good question.
They do apply for it.
I
And
see.
What's been interesting is how they find out is that parents sometimes tell other parents when they're at the grocery store or when they're at church, and they say, "You can't believe my student has just gotten involved with." Waukegan to College, and it's just been a transformative experience for them. And so a lot of it has been parent referral. So it's just now that I wouldn't say just now, I'd say within the last 5 years, they've been reaching out and doing more outreach with the program to the communities, the churches, the grocery stores, the coffee shops, the parent, gatherings, wherever parents gather.
And the schools are really supportive, and they kind of help with that
hugely
process.
Supportive. Because the whole objective for all of the schools in the area is for these children to be successful, the students to be successful.
Is there a position? I'd assume there is for them to, like someone who is knowledgeable about getting grants or scholarships for these kids to support their education. Is there somebody? I assume there's a need for that, or do you already have somebody like that?
They do have I think they do have a grant writer. Yeah. If not, I'm assuming the new executive director, who's been there for 3 years. He's also very familiar with grant writing. So,
Because that can be pretty complex. But
yes.
where there's, if there's the will for the child to go, you got to find the way.
Right.
So,
And it sounds like they're all very self-motivated as well. I mean, I don't know their backgrounds and what kind of homes they come from, but, it could be
all different.
Right. And they have to really want that. And
But all this directing of them towards consistency and persistence, or
Consistency.
consistence,
yeah,
persistence.
consistency. I mean,
Yes.
there are a couple of words that, buzzwords that you use. but-
That alone is what I'm saying. You start to build that within the child. It
Right.
starts to become part of their DNA in their brain, and they're like, "Oh yeah, if I do this, this happens. I get this," as opposed to going down that other path. That's the great part about starting in 5th grade.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, because a lot starts happening after that. I mean,
And it's actually shared in their personal statements.
Yeah.
Without sharing any details, I can tell you they do go in through traumatic incidences where, several of their friends don't want them to go down
of course
the college
not, because
path.
of course
They want them to, go off the college. Why go to college?
Stay in the gang.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's been a very enlightening experience and very inspirational to me. I love the program, and I just think it has so much more potential. It's just going to just blast out of that stratosphere. It's really
do you
exciting.
think that, have you seen students you've worked with been accepted to college?
Most certainly. Oh my
And
gosh.
what's that
that's-
like? I mean, to me,
is
that would be like-
so cool.
I can't even imagine.
It is so
like
cool.
chills.
Success story.
It's
Yeah.
been very, very exciting and they do come back and they will meet with the students and say, "Hey, you know what? It's believable. You can make it happen." It's really very, very exciting.
They should bring those
Yeah.
kids back to speak to the kids who are currently enrolled in the program.
They do.
That's what I
They
thought
do.
they
That's
were.
I'm
do?
sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I meant.
No,
I'm sorry.
and I probably just was slow in the uptake
No,
there.
no.
Oh,
And
glad
yeah.
that's the
It's
best.
just-
to see the
yeah.
results, and they could say, "I was like you were," and stars in my eyes, and it came true.
And what's really wonderful as well is that even though the title of the org is Waukegan to College, they actually do help them through college as well. They have a college advisor.
Oh, it doesn't end there.
That
Wow.
will know they do touch base with these students and make sure they stay on the track. So they do. So a lot of these students, I don't know what the statistic is. It's something like 95% of the students that have gone through the program graduate from college.
Well, follow through is key.
Oh,
Right.
it's huge.
I mean, they
It's
got to
huge.
keep getting motivated. I'm sorry, Holly, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just looking at there's 200 students. I was just looking at.
Currently?
That's what they said on the website. That's what the website said.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes,
a lot.
it's,
It is a lot.
And
it's
then-
a 95% graduation
Oh
rate
my-
from college.
wow.
Isn't that
That's
fantastic.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
Fantastic.
outrageous. It's almost difficult to believe, but it's true.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because just the fact for them to go away to college,
Yeah.
they might be a little insecure about that. And that first semester, no matter who they are, is always rocky. And just to keep them there, just to say, okay, just hang in there.
That's right.
So that's so great that they have that support when they go off, because who knows if they'll get visitors or they probably won't be able to come home as much.
No,
And,
very true.
yeah.
Yeah,
Are some of
it's-
them shepherded into LCC?
Yes,
Lake
absolutely.
County College, for anybody who
through
doesn't know.
through the College of Lake County.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's it, CLC.
Yeah, they've gone to U of I. They go to U of I, Hope College, Elmhurst University, Northwestern. Oh
Wow.
yeah. Oh yeah. Milwaukee School of Engineering.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
See?
Oh yeah.
That's
These kids are the
great.
real deal. It's
Yeah.
really, and this is the thing. Waukegan College has tapped their potential and then taken that potential to its fullest endeavor. So it's really, really exciting.
Oh, that's
Very
so
exciting.
great. And so, do you guys have fundraisers?
They have had fundraisers in the past. I didn't get any feedback right now as to what they're doing about that. I can tell you that their focus is to have more community awareness of the organization. So I think, it'll be a symbiotic thing. The more often that people hear about it, the more they're going to want to support it. I don't see a formal fundraiser in the near future, but yeah. But still, there are many ways to participate and donate.
Well, outside of what we're going to do, which is try to share this podcast with everybody and talk it up to our friends,
Right.
just the whole concept of it, what else could people do right now, that would further the cause, support Waukegan to College?
To support Waukegan to College right now, to donate, one could check in with the executive director, Erin Arnold, and see if there are any opportunities from a volunteer perspective. They're always needing people, and everything from just a mentor themselves, which is just, a wonderful, important position to guide a student holistically through the whole process, all the way to tutors. I always could use an extra college essay coach.
I'm sure.
It was fun. This year was the first time that we had more than just me prepping the students, and it was fascinating because I had 10 other college essay coaches, and it was just
great.
and these
probably need
people
that many.
were, and it was they're a really wonderfully diverse group.
Yeah.
Everybody from those who have their own college counseling services to former journalists to just a mom who is fluent in Spanish and couldn't wait to work with someone from the Hispanic community. And it was just a really, really wonderful cross section of people who wanted to help. So
I would imagine that being
consider.
fluent in Spanish is a real plus.
It definitely is.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes essential.
It's very interesting because from a personal statement standpoint, for me, I found, and maybe it's just me trying to pitch my viability, is that
It's okay.
because I don't speak Spanish, I had to make sure that they could communicate in English as well as they were thinking in Spanish. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So they have
it
wonderful
does. Ooh.
stories that they want to share. But they want it to come out in Spanish. They're like, and it's like, I'm sorry, you're going to have to try and figure out what that word is in English for me. And it's been fascinating. And they really do enjoy it because they rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the characteristics of these kids. They're just very much love the challenge.
Well, it's a good little exercise.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, in fifth grade, you've still got that major flexibility in your brain to be able to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
they
a
work
good
all the
time.
way through high school. All of these kids are all part of the program as much as they can be through high school. So
Well, obviously, the group that's working with them is so supportive and motivating, where they're really pulling that out in them that they may not have thought they had before. So,
Yes,
I mean,
it's been
hats
a very-
off to the volunteers.
yeah, it's been a very enriching
That
time.
nurture.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
so fun to watch the growth too, just physically in the environment. They started with just a few rooms in a church on Grand Avenue.
Oh, wow.
And now they've taken up 2 and a half floors of the whole space that's around the area, in the church building and its complexes that are part of it. So, it's very, very great.
It's flourishing.
Great. Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's just something that can benefit not just the child, but the entire community. And I mean, it's one of those ripple effect things. The family will feel better, the child will feel better, the community eventually. Who knows what can happen?
Full circle, they come back to the community.
That's right, and input.
And the fact that all of the families are very family oriented. There aren't, it's a very close knit community. Everyone supports everyone else. And so coming back from a successful story like that, we're finding that many of the siblings of the successful students are all now enrolled. So it becomes a circular benefit.
That's great.
The kids keep,
Is there a website?
There is. Do you, Holly,
Oh, gosh. Waukegan to College.
Waukegancollege.org?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
it was
easy.
very easy to find.
Yeah.
There's some great photos on there and just some heartwarming little stories.
And it's funny you mentioned that because right now they're in the revamp of the website because it does need to be considerably updated because there's so many exciting new developments that are coming up. So they're in the process of that right now.
That you're probably working on yourself.
A little bit.
Oh, really? Are you doing that?
I'm not.
does
I'm
everything.
no.
I
I was
Stop,
going to say,
stop.
it feels like she's doing
So
everything.
I am not. No. I'm just a lowly college
stop.
essay coach.
Amongst another,
Oh, you're so
amongst
funny.
a lot of other things.
No, really, my core philosophy is really just find what you're passionate at, what you're very good at, what you think you can really share and be psyched about. And that will guide you to your next volunteer opportunity.
Yeah, follow your passion. If someone has a passion for volunteering and they feel like there's a spot here where they can help, and I don't see how anybody, really any listener or anybody, couldn't find some spot. Everybody has their thing that they're good at doing. And if you think about, and I could help somebody do this too, and it's there. So Waukegantocollege.org. And I assume there's all the contact information they need to get involved there.
Very much
Is
so.
there anything that we are missing about this right now? Because otherwise,
Now's your chance.
Well,
concerning both charities, like
Yeah.
anything that you wanted to.
Actually, I
Either
think
or both.
I can just reiterate that there's always an opportunity to take what you love and build it out to the community in whatever way. It doesn't have to be hours at length. It can just be, 15 minutes of your time over the phone, helping someone. I mean, even during the pandemic, I found that what little time I was spending with the students ended up being, profuse in benefits in the long run. So,
How did you do that? Did you have to Zoom with the students?
I did. It was very interesting because, it's a very organized, regulated process in that, we had a Google Doc that we, blocked out time for each student. And then I would take 15 minutes in between to go to the bathroom and, get some water and, do whatever I had to do. But they were passionate to get it done, and I was passionate to help.
Oh, bless you for doing this.
Gosh,
Thank you.
I'm not wonderful like that.
I'm not either.
But you know what? I love when people are, and I get to be around them and bask in their wonderfulness.
You're very sweet. I'm very much a behind the scenes person. You'll never see a byline on my part. I promise. But I do help. I help others do their best. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm wired.
I'll just know that you are very much appreciated.
Oh, my thank you.
Yeah. Feel free to toot your horn. It's okay. I mean, why not, right?
Well, when
I do have my own business. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Tell us about it.
No, well, only because
yeah.
I'm a brand communications consultant. My background is in marketing communications, and I help small businesses and nonprofits and individuals find their personal brand story and differentiate it from anybody else that's out there. And then I handle, I project coordinate and manage all of the communication vehicles that has to do with that, everything from print to digital to video. And I have a cadre of freelancers under that with whom I work. And anybody who wants to get on board, feel free to reach out with a portfolio, and I'd be happy to see what you have. I was just talking to Lisë about her voiceover skills. I'm thinking, I have to think of where I can use her next.
Oh, well, I'm ready. I'm here. If I'm not walking a dog, I'm doing a voiceover. So,
But you can find me on LinkedIn at Patty Charhut. Thanks.
okay,
Awesome.
That's what I was going to say. Is that?
That's I have a more extensive portfolio, but that's a nice snapshot of what I do and who I am and how I operate and what I like to do.
Okay. Well, we will put that in our social media. Okay.
Yeah,
Would that be
Great.
all right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd
okay.
appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll put that along with
Thank
everything
you.
else, and you can get
Yeah.
hold of Patty. Just one quick question about that.
Yes.
Is there a particular industry or industries that you focus on with your business, your personal business?
It's interesting. I have taken on all sorts of different clients, and I haven't found. I think I don't really have a focus in certain industries because my approach to solving problems is more isn't so much industry based as who they're trying market based. Mine's more. I know that's industry and market are the same, but I guess what I can say is that I don't need the technical expertise to be able to be successful in any market that I'm operating.
Oh, no,
if
'cause
that makes any sense.
it does to me.
I
Yeah.
immerse
Yeah, I get it.
myself in my clients' environments, and I become as familiar as I can, so that I can be competent enough to communicate what it is that they need.
How they establish their brand or rebrand or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So if that makes sense.
Well, thank you, Patty.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you so
Oh,
much
ladies,
for
I'm
your
so
time. And
I'm
your
really excited you have this niche in the podcast world. It's so
We'll see.
great.
Spread the word.
I will. I'll post the link to all my socials and, and follow you guys. Absolutely.
Well, we're
It's
having
fun.
a lot of fun. We're a little bit finding our way. We're not sure.
Right.
We're a little this,
in
we're a little that.
We're evolving.
Yeah.
It's new. It's very new and raw, but we've learned a lot, and we continue to evolve to,
Yeah.
We
know that we want to do two things. This is mostly all that we know. We want to do stories like this, talk to people like you, and spread awareness and help people, volunteer organizations, however we can. We know that for sure. We also want to have a good time. We want to talk about, fun things, entertainment, and just stir it up.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's quite the dichotomy, but
a balance. It's a balance.
It's a balance. But pretty much that's what we've been doing. And if it works, great. If not, we're having a good time. So, and we're trying to spread the word about good things for good people, and that's it. Nothing that complicated.
Right.
But we thank you so much for being with us. And Holly, thank you for bringing her to us.
Oh, well, when I saw her in the grocery store, I went, charities. It's almost like charities is written across all over your body. And I'm like, oh, that's Patty. And then she's so accommodating, of course. Okay, yeah, I'm available. I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
It is great. So Patty Charhut on LinkedIn for your business needs. And also if you just want to probe her for any information that we talked about, well, probe sounds really invasive, doesn't it? If you would like to contact her, I mean, honestly, some words you just use them and you just go, that just didn't land right.
Yeah.
And that happens to me a lot. Anyway, so contact her about any information about anything that we've discussed today, which, that would be helpful too. Thank you for being with us. And I think we're about ready to sign off. Thanks again, Patty. And of course, Holly.
Thanks so much, ladies. I really appreciated being here. It was wonderful.
It was our pleasure.
Great.
Okay,
Thank
ladies
you.
who question. Bye-bye, over and out.
Okay.
Say goodbye, Holly.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Harvey.
Ladies Who Question is executive produced and edited by Lisë, Dominique, and Holli Caulfield. Music, My Lionheart and Sketch Music, Florian Monax and Matthew Anderson. Font, Geofanny by Adriana619. Research, Holli Caulfield. Social media, Chelsea Caulfield. Please follow Ladies Who Question on all social media, ladieswhoquestion.com. And subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. This is a Harvey Doodle production.
All content discussed on Ladies Who Question are the individual opinions of Lisë, Dominique, and Holli Caulfield and should not be construed as personal advice of any kind. By listening to this podcast, you agree to not use this podcast as any advice for any personal or medical issue of yourself or others. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the podcast.